So let's jump into virtual environments here for a second. It's a different topic. It's a lot more simple. So what are virtual environments? And this is going to be a pretty quick introduction to this. So let's open up our PowerShell window here. Let's put it right here. Now you'll notice that in here, so ls, let's go into ransomware just because. Actually, let's not. Let's create a new directory called, I don't know, project 2. It doesn't matter. I'm going to delete it at some point. It's just, for example, call it project 32. Okay. We have nothing inside of here. And you see this space in here? You'll probably not have this. This is because of my Conda environment. But let's assume we don't have it. Right, we don't have it. This is here just because of my PowerShell profile. Don't mind it. Now, we have a Python installation, right? And if you click Python, you go into your shell, you have your Python installation. Now, when you install modules in Python, and again, what are modules? Modules are simply if you go into there we go. So if you search, for example, I don't know, what's an example of a module? So for example, time module, Python. So it's simply going to be a library you can call up from, and I'll show you in code. It's easier actually. So if you have, let's say we have this test.py file, right? But we also have another one called, so we're just going to have a folder actually. We're going to call this underscore modules. And inside of here, we're going to have our SuperModule.py. Right? And in here, we're going to have a function that's going to do print stuff, and this function is just going to print hello world, right? It doesn't matter. Hello world. Right? And it's in a different file. And right now we are, let's go into our shell and let's actually go into our initial project. So we have our test.py, we have our text, doesn't matter, we have our modules. So when we go into our modules folder, when we go into our modules folder, we're going to have our SuperModule Python file with functions. Now, what you can do is you can have a lot of functions in this file, and you can call them in your main file. How do you do this? Well, first of all, you have to tell, you have to add a special file inside this folder to tell Python that it's going to be called. So that it can be called in as a module. And you add something called __init___.py. You don't have to put anything in this file, it just has to exist. Now, what you can do is you can do from modules import our SuperModule. And notice how it auto-completes already. Now, if we just do this and we run our file, nothing's going to happen, right? But here's the thing. When we do this, it's going to go into a folder called modules, right here, and it's going to go and look for our SuperModule, which is here. And it's going to basically run what's in here. Right? So right now we have our, so it's going to go into here and it's going to just run this definition of the function. So in your main file, you have now ran the definition of this function. Now to make sure the code doesn't break, so if you have different functions with different names from different modules, you have to refer to this as SuperModule dot something. In this case, it auto-completes with print stuff. That's the only function that exists. And now you can actually call this function. So you can come up over here, play it, hello world. There we go. Now to prove to you that this actually runs instead of something else, you can actually just put print hello world, and without calling anything, if you just import the module, you're going to see that it's going to run the code and it's going to print hello world. right? It's going to go into here and run this code. Why is this really useful? This is useful because, of course, you can download from the internet or even have a bunch of modules that you created yourself and a very simple file that calls modules from this. So you can have like auxiliary modules separated neatly into different files that then you call upon in your main file and you call some functions from it. So it organizes your code better. And I use this from because you can use this, so if you have a folder, so you can do this, or if you want to import particular functions, you can as well. So you use the dot as I used before. So from modules.supermodule, you can also import the only function that exists actually now, which is called print stuff. And right now we only have the print stuff. We don't have anything of supermodule. The only thing we have is print stuff because that's the only thing we imported. So if we run this, it's going to print hello world anyway, right? And if you didn't have a folder, or if you just had a file and you wanted to import that whole file, you can just forget the from and use import, right? So if you have, for example, let's say SuperModule is right here, and let's delete the modules folder. Let's delete the definition of this function. Now, if you do this, however, it's going to locate your SuperModule, and it will run that code. As you can see, it printed hello world. Did you create that modules and init manually, etc.? Okay, so this is so this PyCache is completely automatic. You don't actually need this right now. The init is needed if you have, for example, a folder, which is going to be considered kind of like a package. So let's say you have a folder called modules, and this is just to organize your code. So all your modules go here, and then you can put your supermodule. When you do this, you can say from modules import supermodule, right? You can still say this, and it will run. But you should always create your init file manually yourself. So __init__.py. Because this is basically going to help Python understand where the top level is going to be. And you'll get this maybe later on, but you should always create this, okay? Even though you can technically call it without it, when things get more complex, it will be useful to have it. And also you can write code in here. This code is basically going to be executed every time that anything from inside this modules is going to be called. But we'll get into that later. The idea right now is just to show you that you can import other files, Python files, that have functions in them. And those functions can import other things too. And importing just really means that it's going to fetch that file and run that code, essentially, right? And why is this important? Well, it's important because it allows you to use a lot of the functionality in the system. So for example, when we used, I don't have it already anymore, do I? When we went through input and output, there we go, we did. When we went through input and output, we actually used an import. We imported IO. And IO just happens to be a standard library in Python. So it comes included with the Python installation. So you don't have to install anything. So you just import it. And when you import it, you have all the access of all of the functions and classes and objects inside of this IO. If you have another directory inside modules, like modules test supermodule.py. Okay, so let's do that for a second. Let's create another directory here, saying supermodules, and inside supermodules we have a module. We have our supermodule. Now, yeah, supermodule is still the same. Now, let's actually comment this out instead of deleting it because we're going to be using it later. So we can do, so if we say from modules dot supermodules, import SuperModule, it's still the same thing, and you can use it and it will print hello world. Okay? Now, yeah, that's basically it. Now, for example, if you do from modules import SuperModules, this is wait, let me delete this because it's confusing. This is not going to give you an error, right? And we'll get at that in a bit, but that's because, again, and this is where this comes into play as well, because you notice as soon as I import the folder, not the module, and when I import the folder, the init gets executed, but not this. Okay, we didn't import this, we just imported the folder. The init gets executed, right? And when we do what we did before, in here, the init gets executed too, but we also imported this, so this gets executed as well, right? And this is, and you can access anything inside of SuperModule by just saying SuperModule dot whatever function is inside of it, right? But yeah, and this is what we're doing when we're doing the I/O. So when we did the I/O part, we imported I/O, which is a Python file somewhere, io.py, and it has a bunch of functions inside of it, and classes as well. You can see this is a class. We'll get into that later, but you can just use them by saying io dot whatever's inside of it, and you can see a lot of different things in here. So for example, open. Where's open? Open is a function, or let's say open code, right? Open code is a function. We can access it by using io dot something, and this is what we used before as well. Something also important, for example, you can import time, and time has a bunch of things. So you can do time.sleep to make your program just sleep for, or do nothing for, do nothing for X amount of time. And we can also do time dot. Actually, we shouldn't do this. We can tell what time it is right now, how much time has passed. We can do all sorts of things, and this becomes really useful. Hey, hello there, Wolf. And this becomes really useful when you can later on download packages from the internet. And how do you do this? Well, let's say you want to download. Oh God. So requests PyPy. Okay. There we go. For example, this is a module in Python, but it doesn't come installed with Python. So for example, if I go into our Python interactive shell and I type import requests, it's going to say no module named requests. We don't have requests. It's not in the standard library. But we can install it with pip. Pip comes with your Python installation, and you can use pip to install things. So if you do pip install requests, it's going to install the requests module, which then is going to allow you to just use import request on your Python. But here's the thing. What if, so you have a project and you require particular modules, or you created your own modules, or whatever happened. You have 30 different modules that you have to install in specific versions. Right? And then you have a different project that requires a different version of modules. Then you have to uninstall the modules you had before, reinstall like the different versions, or downgrade or upgrade. It becomes very messy. And that's where virtual environments comes into play. A virtual environment is basically just a contained Python installation. So how do you create a virtual environment? So right now, my Python is the normal Python, right? To create a virtual environment is really easy. You use Python and then -m. -m means you're invoking a module, essentially. So -m venv, which is the name of the virtual environment module you're invoking. And then you just type the name of the module you want. So let's say right now I want ransom. There are other options, and you can look this up, but this is the basic idea. Then now it's going to create a virtual environment. And it's done. How can we tell it created a virtual environment? Well, if we look at the files, we now have another folder called ransom. Right? Now, if we explore this folder, what does this folder have? So input output, ransom. So if we explore this folder, we notice that this folder has a script. It has a Pyan configuration file, so it's a configuration for the environment. Oh damn it! It's on the other side. So you can see here, it's just a configuration for it. The version of Python is here. The place where the Python installation is. Then you have your scripts, and then you have a lot of stuff. So you have pip, you have Python, which is the Python for this environment, this contained Python installation. Then you have a couple activate things, and this activate things are for Python activation. What does that mean? Well, right now, even though we created our virtual environment, we're not in it, right? We're not in this virtual environment. How can we get and work on this virtual environment? We can just use the command source, and then we go inside of our folder. In this case, it's called ransom, and it's in ransom bin. Wait, is it not? Oh, it's Windows. It's in ransom scripts activate. Or sorry, activate.ps1 because we're in PowerShell. Oh, we don't need the source. I'm an idiot. Damn. Yeah, this is not Linux. So ransom scripts activate.ps1. That's all you need. Okay. And when you do this, you notice that there's something that shows up here in parentheses. This is your active environment. Now you're in this environment. Now if you use Python, you're not using your normal Python. You're using your virtual environment Python. So this is a contained Python installation. So if I do import request, for example, which is a module, it doesn't exist. But let's install this. So let's do pip install requests. Oops. We're inside Python. I'm an idiot. So let's do pip install requests. Right, so it's going to collect the request, and then it's going to install it. There we go, it's installed. Now if I do Python again, and I do import requests, no error. We have successfully installed it in our contained environment. Now what happens if I go out of this environment? How do I exit my environment? You can just do deactivate, and it's gone. No more ransom in parentheses, it's gone. No more environments. Now, if you go into your Python installation and you click, you try to import requests, it's not going to work. It's going to tell you module not found because you have not installed requests on your main installation of Python. You only installed it in the virtual environment called ransom. Anytime you want to activate it again, just go into the directory ransom scripts activate.ps1. There we are. And every time you execute something, you're going to have it again, right? No error, right? And this is really useful to do with projects. So every time you have a new project, you should create a virtual environment for that project. If you're going to, mess with a lot of the modules that you can get, you can install a lot of modules, and that way you don't touch your main Python installation. You're just working with a contained Python installation. If you want to completely destroy it, you can. The way to do it is you just delete the folder. That's it, right? That's all you need to do. So deactivate. If you're on Linux, by the way, you would do it. You can do it in the exact same way, except to activate your environment. Instead of going to ransom scripts activate.ps1, and again, if you're in command prompt, so let's open up command prompt. In command prompt, right? Instead of PowerShell, you wouldn't use the PS1, right? You would use where am I? Oh god, I hate CMD. Okay, so you wouldn't use wait, don't we have a script there? Am I tripping right now? Ransom. Oh no. Well, yeah. What is in here? Yeah, we have a scripts directory. What the hell's going on? So wait, ransom scripts. There we go. Activate, and you would do the activate.bat, right? And then you see the ransom here. Because and then the activate is the same. Now the reason you do the bat is because obviously if you do the PS1, it's a PowerShell script, so it's not going to interpret it as a PowerShell script because you're in command prompt. So it interprets as the batch, right? And if you're in PowerShell, of course, you use your PS1 because that's for PowerShell. Now, if you're on Linux, you do it differently, but it's very similar. But if you're on Linux, you're going to do source, and then your folder ransom, and then there's going to be a folder called bin, and then it's going to be activate, and that's it. And then you click, and you're good. That's on Linux. How can I show you quickly right now? I can show you this, I guess. So let's open up a connection to, let's say, I should have some Linux under, like, super handy, but I don't have it up right now. We can do this, it's easy anyway. So SSL, DNS, let's look up this one. So let's go for here. Here, I guess. Let's log in. Okie dokie. So let's say we have, so this is Linux that we are in right now. Let's make a directory, tests. Let's change to that directory. And right here, we want our virtual environment. And I'm going to deactivate our Conda environment because it's just going to be better. Anyway. Okay. So, in here what we're going to have is, can I make this bigger? I shouldn't. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's create our environment, right? So if you have Python, there's no Python, but there's a Python 3. There we go. So we do a Python 3 venv myenv. Doesn't matter what the environment is called. Oh shit, this doesn't exist. Okay, so yeah, you have to also install this, by the way. This is pretty important too, obviously. But that's the thing. As soon as you do it, it will tell you, which is not a big deal. And now as soon as you do that, it will just work. Let's go. There we go. And now when you see you have your directory here, so now if you do source, myenv, bin activate, there you go. You have your parentheses here, all is good. And your Python installation is in your virtual environment, and we can always deactivate it like this. So that's how you do it. So Linux, Python, so Windows and Linux. So that's it. That's virtual environments. And that's all for today. Are there any questions right now? I know that today was quite a bit of information. Maybe it was a bit confusing. But hopefully if you guys have any questions, I would appreciate it if you guys can tell me now. And if you guys rewatch this later, just put a comment with your question or doubt, and I can clear it up in the document that I'm going to write for these lessons and in next week as well. Any questions right now? And thank you so much for watching so far. Really appreciate it. And right now I'm going to take a look at any particular events that have happened because I wanted to pay attention to chat. Sorry, no, so nothing particularly interesting, I believe. Thank you so much for the subscriptions, by the way, guys. Really appreciate it. Is it okay if I message you on Discord if I'm stuck with something? Sure. Anyone, if you are stuck with anything or have any doubts, just go over to our Discord. You can message me. You can message anyone else. Um, so, so for example, if you go into our website, so whitehathacking.tech, just click on community, right? And you'll go into our Discord server. You can join it. And when you are there, right here, oh, I haven't mentioned. So you can ask anything. For example, in coding channel, you can ask anything here. You can ask me too. You can just DM me with any question you want. It's totally fine. I answer every single question. Sometimes I do take some time, but I answer every single question. We also have a giveaway, by the way, in which you just have to react to enter. And in this giveaway, you can win a 1 month Nitro. And yeah. Any other question right now? We have some new designs coming up as well, by the way. And because these are pretty, these are really cool. Like I'm wearing that shirt right now. This shirt is actually really nice. Only thing that I recommend with this, with everything in here actually, if you if you're not really familiar with things that are, for example, 100% ring spun cotton, you should try to, like if you're an L, for example, you should order like an XL. Because when you wash this, it might shrink a little bit. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But everything else, like, really awesome. Had no problems with the shipping at all. I had problems with a lot of other things in shipping, but no problems with this. Okay, I will end this in about 4 minutes. Why don't you have a sub button? Well, I started streaming actually pretty recently, and on this account, it's a new account, ish. And on this account, I haven't streamed enough hours for the subscribe button to appear. I believe it's 50 hours. I'm not sure. I believe it's 50 hours until the subscribe button appears. So hopefully we'll do soon, because I think that I have streamed for quite a bit of hours, but not that many actually. So if I go look, because on my YouTube channel, so let's go look in here. So my videos, actually not the videos, I wanted my live streams. So past live streams. So we did, so 2, 3, so 4, 5. Yeah, actually we're quite a bit away from the 50 hours. I think it's 50 hours. We did one more. I'm looking on. Yeah, I should be looking on Twitch, not on YouTube. But since these are uploaded anyway, right? But they missed quite a few hours, I believe. So if I go into my channels here, and I go into wherever it is, do I not know where this is? Do I just click on here? Yeah, videos. So past broadcasts. We only have like the recent more. Okay, so we only have the more recent ones anyway. So 5 and 6. There are no more. There are no more, I guess, in here. But yeah, I think it's the 50-hour thing. I can just Google that really quickly. Twitch affiliate. Oh, it's not. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I have no idea why I thought 50 hours. It's 50 followers. And over the last 30 days, 500 total minutes, 7 unique broadcast days, and an average 3 or more concurrent viewers. So this is the criteria. So hopefully at some point, not in too long, we will have a subscribe button. You only streaming on YouTube? No, Sumstar. I'm actually streaming on Twitch as well. So I stream on YouTube because, well, I stream on YouTube because I'm multi-streaming, right? So I'm streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time. To be honest, I pay a bit more attention to Twitch because it's easier for me to control and see. But I see chat for both YouTube and Twitch as well. I'm not incredibly active on YouTube per se, as I am on Twitch. Although it's, in terms of live streaming, it should be pretty much the same thing. And everything goes to YouTube regardless. So all of my live streams go to YouTube regardless. Although I try to kind of cut them down a little bit, but yeah. Okay, I guess that's it. So it's 7 right now for me, and I will go now. I think that I answered all of your questions. If I didn't, just DM me. It's the easiest thing. Just DM me, or post as a comment on YouTube. I read everything, so I read all the comments, all the messages. So whichever social platform you come, I'll read it. Thank you for being here. Oh, you're welcome, guys, and thank you so much for being here and for supporting the stream. Really appreciate it, and I hope you guys found this insightful. I haven't yet actually uploaded the documents for the lessons on the website because I was waiting for this so that I could actually start with these basics before the ransomware project on the website. I think it would be better, and I kind of wanted to see if you guys had any questions afterwards as well, so that I can explain this a lot better in text, because it's easier to explain things in text than it is in a live format. But I hope this was incredibly useful, or I hope this was useful for you. Anyway, see you guys. I hope you've had a nice Christmas, and we'll definitely see each other. Oh, we're not going to see each other. Well, I'm not going to live stream before um, uh, New Year's. So happy New Year's as well, guys. And as always,